Kia ora e te whānau. Here's what we're making today. So here we go, we are making our first proper page for Love Letters and Lace. Come make with me, and I have made a printout for myself, which I'll keep referring to, of all of the pics that you guys chose that you want to make. So today we are going to do this guy here, so that we know that we've done him. And that was, the number 1 is the most popular down to number 10. So just in case you want a visual of the ones that we're making and the ones that came out on top. We will probably do a few more because that won't fill our journal completely. But yeah, there we go. So if you're new here, welcome, welcome. If you're here before, I'm so glad that you're back. So get ready, grab your cup of tea and come in and just watch. Join along with your own stash, or you can get the digitals and everything to go with the whole journal, which will be in the description below. But let's get making. Okay, my lovelies, so I've decided to use this gel print of mine as a folio in the journal. So I'll pop this print and this print into this week's folio for Come Make With Me. And we'll just fold that one in half. I think I'll just keep this one A5, even though we're going to create quite a few layers. And I'll put the cards on here. I have got a whole heap of old playing cards. I think they're pretty easy to find, so most of you will probably have some lying around that you've managed to pick up from an opportunity shop. And I'm just going to be putting it onto manila, that word always gets me, folder. So I'll just try and avoid those bits. So just make sure that that's going to fit. Yes, I could score it, but I've made one previously, which I will swap to in a second. So all you're going to do is literally glue that onto there. Now on my sample one for the next one, so I can show you cutting it, this one here is actually, that's how it came. That's actual faux tape. But there's no reason why. There'll be heaps and heaps of different tutorials on how to do faux yellow tape, and I do have one as well. If I can find it, I'll fish it out and put it down below for you. But it's just alcohol ink and a fan brush. That's what I find the best method. And by fan brush, I just mean one of these guys, and I have amber and sienna alcohol ink, and I just splatter them on, and then I just use this to spread it out, and I find I get quite a nice natural looking faux yellow tape. I mean, look at that, that's pretty close to the original. And then I will just give it a good old rip. And up to you, of course, whether you want to just ink that here so that it stands out a bit more under the tape, but I usually do. And then just pop that across, and look at that, it's pretty close. So, and yes, no matter what method I try, unless I laser print my faux yellow tape, which actually that clear sticker paper is thicker than actual sellotape, so I prefer using the actual sellotape because it folds nicer. So this always wears off a little bit if you're too rough with it, so I just try not to touch it, and then hopefully over time it will faux yellow turn into genuine yellow tape. So we're just helping it along for now until it gets that look itself. Good 20 years I would think would do it. So all I do is I just do it by eye. I just try to make sure that this border here is as even as possible, because these cards are actually, because they've been worn down, they're not exactly square anymore. And then the next one that I put up needs double the space in between, because we're going to slice through there. Okay, so that's all I do. Put 2 more on there, so I'll swap it out. Just move that out of the way for a second, and straighten your back up again. And again, I'm terrible at this, sorry, but I would just do this by eye again. I'm just going to slice through there. So much of what I do, I don't measure. That's all part of it, right? We don't want perfection. But I'd say it's about 1/4 inch border around, and in centimetres it's 0.5. Okay, and then just slice this guy too. Look, see, he's on a bit of a wonk. I don't mind, and if I really mind, I'll swap it out to the other one that I just did. Now, of course, you can also use a cutting paper cutter, guillotine, whatever you like. And then I'm just going to do the same. This one I'll use my mat, just so that they're a bit more square. And because that card's on there, a little bit wonky. My door just flew open. It's quite windy here today, if you heard that racket. So this is just going to make them all at least the same width when they're on the page. And then all I'm going to do is ink the edges inside and out on the manila, and I'm going to round these corners. Pretty sure I didn't. Let's just have another look. Yeah, I did. I rounded the folds as well. So I'm going to round all 4 corners on all 3 of those and ink them, and I will be back. Okay, we are all inked up. Now, obviously, you don't need to ink the back. Now, there is an alternative that you can do if you want to. So I am, and how I did the last one, I just glued these flat. So glued all of that and I lay them down. If you want to, you could just glue it into a pocket, so then not only will you have a writing space when you open it up, but you would also be able to stick a few little treats in there. Now, you're not going to have much room though, because as you can see, you don't really want to go layering. Oh, this is awkward. You don't want to go putting something in the pocket that's going to interfere too much with that magnet closure, but it is an option. You can do it if you want to. And just looking at how I'm going to put these on, I'm thinking I like the 484, and I know there's clubs and clubs. Obviously this is the alternative. Then I've got clubs, spades, clubs, but I find the weights off. I feel like that weighty, more busy 8 needs to be in the center there. And then I am going to have them in the center because I like them opening in different directions. So I prefer if two open one way, one opens the other. Don't ask me why, I don't know. I just do. So by eye, I can see that I'm pretty much going to have to glue those right next to each other. You can see there's very, very little extra room for me there. So that makes it easier. If you've got a bigger page, or if you cut these smaller, what I would usually do is I would do the top one and the bottom one the same distance, and then I would glue that one in the middle so that I can see that the distance between the two is the same. But in this case, we are just going to pop them on there. So I'll just fast forward this bit for you.
I'll teach you Happy Mother's Day.
Still gluing, but just had to jump on and tell you. My partner walks in, starts talking, and my cat Needles, she absolutely just goes feral for him when he walks in. Starts meowing, meowing, meowing. So I may have left a little bit of that in just so that you could see the evidence of the chaos that is my everyday life in my bedroom crafting, because I don't have room for a craft room. But yeah, that's we do what we do, right? And when I'm filming this, is Mother's Day in New Zealand, but my son is up in Rotorua visiting his girlfriend, so he sent me a beautiful message, and I'm pretty stoked with that. It was a nice long message about how much he appreciates me. So to all the mummies out there, I know this will come late, but happy Mother's Day, you wonderful human beings. And for anyone that counts as well, for those of you who have little furry babies. And yeah, it should be a nice day. Not doing much, just sitting here crafting with you guys. I love it. And I will just take a little bit of my overgluing, because you know what I'm like. Love overgluing. So happy someone recommended me to get one of these though. They are so much better than my fingers. Okay, so it is up to you. I mean, I glued it first onto the background. You could do your note paper line stamping in here first if you want to. You could do the little tabs that we're going to make and glue them on first before you glue it onto the background, but I don't think it makes much difference. So now we will get on and I will make the little tabs that we put on them, and then we'll decorate them with some little clusters and interesting bits. Okay, now this is a use whatever you have moment and improvise, because I'm going to use some of my stamps and you might not have the same stamps, which is probably a good thing. We'll create variety. So for our little tabs, I am just going to, can be any size you like. I do want them to be little squares, and again, feel free to use your paper cutter. These ones I'm making are just going to be 3 by 3 centimeters, so you could do 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, or even 1 inch by 1 inch. And I want to do one butterfly. Ooh, I could do a bee. Oh no, I like that butterfly. He's one of my favourites. After an extensively long, unnecessary search for my Stays On black, I have produced black soot. You know, when you go to reach for that thing that is always in its place and it's not in its place, and then you get that awful feeling of, oh God, where is it? Yep, I just had that for the last 20 minutes. Lucky you guys didn't have to come on the little trip journey with me for that. Anywho, hopefully our butterfly is going to fit on there. mind that my brain will be happy with black soot. Often, I don't know if you guys are the same, but if I can't find something I want, and I mean that's pretty much black ink, isn't it? I mean, let it go, Sara-Lee. But my brain just won't. Absolutely not. But we are going to move on, or I am not going to get this video done. So here we are. Black soot saves the day. Now you could do 3 butterflies. You could do 3 circles. You could have them, you know, just similar. I like doing variations. You don't have to do that, nor do you have to do it on white card. You could do it on something that's got a little bit of a creamy colouring to it. Okay, brain, just accept it. We're moving on. Now, on the last one I did, I actually used, but I'll have to do that in another tutorial. I've been making this paper that looks like the cover of one of those journals, that really brown kind of veneer finish. And it's actually PVA decoupaged onto brown craft stock, and it's cicada paper. But I do not have the ability to do that today, so we will use any card, brown. You might have some brown scrapbooking paper. How long do I want those? Probably about that. And these can all be different as well. If you see on, put it in a folio now so I don't wreck it and have to print it again. If you see on there, that one's got the little, just the hole punched ones, and then this one has a longer one with an eyelet, and I've angle punched that one, and I think I rounded that one, so I made them all different. You've got a circle, a butterfly, so do whatever makes your heart happy. Just trim that down a little bit more. Yeah, I want it about that. Seriously, my brain's still going, but that's not black stays on. Oh, tell me please tell me I'm not alone with that. And that one can be the middle one, it can just be a little bit shorter. I'm just going to do them all similar for this one. So for this guy here, we're just going to, too thick to go through two, so I'll have to do them separately. I don't mind that they're a little bit rough. And then we've just got to shape these guys as well. And then I'll just quickly ink them. So I'll come back once I've done that. And then I'm just going to quickly glue these guys on. And I like to just about there, because when I punch my eyelet, I'm actually going to go right through the middle here. And I don't really mind that that stamp isn't totally seen. So I'll just glue those on, and I shall come back in a second, and I'll punch my holes and I'll put the eyelets in, because most of you already know how to do eyelets. Okay, so I haven't stuck these on yet, and yeah, we probably should have done this first, but I've got a solution for that. I am just going to pre-punch my washi tape. You probably would have noticed in the editing that I would have put some text over it to say maybe do this step first. Then you won't have to do what I am doing. So this is just printed washi tape on washi tape paper. So I will show you how to do one, and then you just do all three the same. So that's going to go on there. Now I've just got these little, there's two there. These are just off Temu. They measure 1.5 magnets and they're 1 millimeters depth. And then I do, you've got to make sure you get your magnets the right way around. So that one needs to go that way. And then I do just add a little bit of glue on the bottom of the magnet, just to hold it there. And then put the washi tape over top of it. And that will help hold it in place. And I just run my fingernail around it a little bit so that I know it's going to stay there. There's one done. And we just need to do one on the other side. It's a little bit short, but I'm okay with that. Do it up the other way. Make sure we hit our magnet the right way. And to be fair, sometimes that I know I'm going to get it in the right spot, I will allow that to dry for quite a while, and then when you lift it up, the magnet should be enough to hold on the other side. So then you know it's in exactly the right spot. But I think it's going to take a little bit longer than that. So what I will do, just so that I can show you, is just put that onto my glue spot. There we go. And that's why I make the little pull tab. So this guy is just going to glue on halfway. Imagine if you didn't have the pull tab, because they're good little magnets. And we're just going to pop him just there and allow that to dry. And you can put ribbon, you can put lace. I really like the look of just old twine, which is probably what we'll end up using. And I'll just leave that there to dry for now. And I'll just go and do the other two and I'll pop back. Now, clusters. Now I've just fished a few little bits out and some muslin. Hopefully you've got a little stash like this. I find these boxes really helpful. And I've just, over time, made all these little bits and pieces and put them in there, and I just fish them out when I can. Now these guys, I wanted to buy an old typewriter, and I wanted to pull apart the typewriter and have really cool typewriter keys, but I realized that that was going to be a bit of a mission. So what I did is I made a digital of these faux little typewriter keys, and I made them on Photoshop, and I have put them in your Come Make With Me folder for this week, the whole sheet. So you may either just cut them out, glossy accents them. If you've got some little rings like this, then you can do the resin method that I've shown. I think I did this method with my resin embellishment dots, so I will put that in the description below, so if you do want to give these a go, and it lists all the sizes of the rings and everything. But for these ones, they're about 1.75, and they're just from Temu, but it will just depend country to country as to whether or not you can get those exact ones or not, whether they've got them in stock. So all I'm going to do here is make little clusters with the grey. So this, I've just dyed this with putting some black soot distress ink on my gel plate. You can put it on any surface you like, and I have just added water and soaked this up into it. It's just a little cotton, I buy them as little baby cloths in a set of 5, I think, from Temu. And then we're just going to make sure we got the right size. I like it to be a little bit skew with, and I don't want to cover up all the playing card, but I do want to give it a bit of texture behind there. So I just go bit of texture, 3 elements. Always like an odd number, and then that's just going to go on there, and maybe that guy there. That's a little Tokyo stamp. If I can, I'll put that in the folder as well, and we might just tuck him in there, and there's our first one. So I'll glue that down off camera. The top one, again, just grab a little bit of this, give it a bit of a chop, and these are just that same set of stamps, but I've just stamped them onto some dyed paper. And I'll put so you've got the full set of that, and you Come Make With Me for this part. I'll put some butterflies from my butterfly digital, and you've got, I'll see if I can find those as well, put a couple of those on, because these are all my ones, so that's okay. I can do that. And then this guy, maybe just like that. So I'll glue those on, and then all we've got to do, I'll do that like I said off camera, is make our little 3D kind of, it's got a bit of depth to it, because what we're going to do is we're going to put the acetate under that level, then we're going to put it on there, so it's going to have a little window at the bottom. So how I make sure I cut these, as you can see, they all go nicely together, and I don't actually have a die cut that does that, so I got this out to show you. I just put it onto the die cuts onto a piece of paper, line them up by eye, and then I've got a piece of masking tape across there, and I keep that bit like that because there's no stickiness underneath it, and I just keep punching out cards. And for this one, this is 240 GSM card, and I do have 8 layers there, and you could use foam tape but if you've ever used foam tape, it's really hard to get around in circles, so I always find this method easier. So I'm just going to quickly go off camera, and I am going to ink all around the inside and outside of every one of those circles because I do not want that to be white on the inner edge, and I don't want to see white on the outside. I'll also give that last one a bit of an ink too. So I'm just going to, now that I've inked all of those, glue one onto the background. And then I'm going to glue this little guy so I know where I want him to go. And now, so that I don't hold you while I do this, I'm just going to glue until I've got that one left. I'm not going to glue that one yet. Okay, we are almost there. So all I have done is got two pieces of clear acetate and cut them with my die cut. Just give them a little bit of a clean. And I am just going to, now I've cut that the same size at the moment as that outer circle, but what I want to do is trim them down just to here so that I have somewhere to glue. It's always so hard to see when you're cutting acetate. I still want enough so that it will glue, but so that I've got paper to paper gluing as well. Just on the edges. Oh, I think I might have overdone that. Will it work? Just. Okay, so the butterfly will help us keep it together. So I just want some ink right on that inner glue, sorry, right on that inner edge of that circle. Then the one I've just cut, I am going to lay over that glue. I'm going to grab my little butterfly and I'm just going to put a little bit of blob on him and place him so that he is not hiding the label. And then I'm going to trim this guy too, hopefully a little bit less than the last one. And I'm just going to re-glue that on the acetate. I think, even though I usually like to use double-sided tape, just grab that, try and scrape that glue off there. I think double-sided tape for how thin my border is just going to be too tricky. And then, now do you have to do it this way where you've got the window shadow box in between? No, you do not. You could just make a plain specimen slide. But this is what was on the one you guys wanted to make, so this is what I will make. And I think it makes quite a big difference to just a normal specimen slide, because if you can see that, you now have depth with a little shadow box, and I think that's really cool. So all I'm going to do with that guy is I'm just going to pop them straight on there. If you want to, you could put a little bit of muslin behind it, but I think this shadow box is a little bit bigger than the one that I made on the last one, so I'm not entirely sure we're going to need it. I suppose it gives it a little bit something, but no, I'm just going to leave that one. You can make that decision for yourself. So I'll just quickly glue these in place. There we go, we are done. Apart from just putting a little bit of twine on there, you can decide whether you want to put a little bit of note paper in there, leave it plain, or do some line stamps. Completely up to you. But I think we have successfully created what we did. So I won't bore you with putting the little strings through there, but you would have seen that at the beginning anyway. I'm pretty sure you guys know how to do that. And that is our first page done. And the only other thing that I might do while I'm off camera is just go around and just ink that page as well. But that is our first page done for our Love Letters and Lace journal. So if you're new here, I hope you're wanting to come along and watch or join or whatever you want. Maybe just settle in and watch with a cup of tea, that's fine too. But I will put the Love Letters and Lace collection, which comes with the individual packs, the Come Make With Me, which gives you everything week to week that I can possibly scan that goes in that folder, or the Mega Bundle, which just gives you that access and every other digital, whether we use it or not. So there we go. All right, well, I hope you all had an amazing Mother's Day, and until next week, I will see you guys soon. Mā te wā!